Picture this. I'm standing at my kitchen window, the morning light spilling over a sink full of last night's dishes, and I'm already mentally tallying the day's endless to-do list. My name's Nicole, and at 40, I've somehow become the architect of a life so structured it could double as a spreadsheet. I've been married to Samuel for 15 years. Samuel, my rock, my mid-40s financial consultant husband who can balance a budget with the same care he uses to balance my moods. He's thoughtful, supportive, the kind of man who remembers to buy my favorite coffee beans even when I forget to ask. Our marriage is a steady ship, no storms on the horizon, but the waters have grown still. Predictability has settled in like dust on a shelf, and I'm not sure when I last felt a spark of something unexpected. I'm a marketing manager, which sounds glamorous until you're drowning in deadlines and client calls at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. My days are a blur of work, errands, and making sure Samuel has a hot meal when he gets home after a long day of crunching numbers. I'm the one who keeps the gears turning. Household duties, bills, even remembering his dry cleaning. Self-care? That's a concept I've shelved somewhere between someday and never. A long bath or a lazy afternoon with a book feels like a fantasy, something other people get to indulge in while I'm over here color-coding my planner. I catch myself in the mirror sometimes, noticing the faint lines around my eyes, the way my shoulders slump under invisible weight, and I wonder when I stopped prioritizing myself. This particular Saturday morning, though, something shifts. I'm in my usual spot by the counter, sipping lukewarm coffee, when Samuel walks in with a grin that's suspiciously wide. He's holding something behind his back, and before I can ask, he places a small, beautifully wrapped package in front of me. It's not my birthday, not an anniversary, just an ordinary weekend, so I'm already thrown off. "Go on, open it," he says, his voice warm, almost playful. I peel back the delicate paper, and inside is a certificate. Thick, creamy paper with elegant gold lettering that shimmers under the kitchen light. It reads, "Luxury Salon for Special Clients," with an address in an upscale part of town I've only driven through, never stopped in. I look up at him, confused, and he steps closer, resting a hand on my shoulder. "You deserve this, Nicole. Take some time for yourself," he says, his smile softening, his eyes full of quiet insistence. My first instinct is to protest. I've got laundry to fold, emails to answer, but there's something in his tone that melts my resistance. I run my fingers over the certificate, feeling the weight of the paper, the promise of something different, and I nod. "Okay," I say, almost surprising myself. "I'll do it." So here I am, a few days after that unexpected Saturday morning, driving through the city on a crisp autumn afternoon with Samuel's gift certificate tucked safely in my purse. The streets are a canvas of golden leaves, swirling in the breeze like tiny dancers, catching the sunlight in fleeting bursts of amber and crimson. I can't help but feel my heart fluttering, a strange cocktail of curiosity and unease bubbling inside me as I navigate toward an address I've only ever glimpsed from the car window. This part of town feels like another world, where every building seems to whisper wealth and exclusivity, and I'm just a visitor with a borrowed pass. My old sedan feels out of place among the sleek luxury cars parked along the curb, and I double-check the GPS, half expecting I've made a wrong turn. Finally, I spot it. A discreet, upscale building that almost blends into the background, if not for the subtle sign above the frosted glass doors. Elysium Retreat. The name alone sends a shiver down my spine, like it's promising something more than just a massage. I park, take a deep breath, and step out, the cool air nipping at my cheeks as I clutch my purse a little tighter. Pushing through those heavy glass doors, I'm hit with an atmosphere that feels otherworldly, like stepping into a dream I didn't know I had. The lobby is all marble floors, polished to a mirror sheen, reflecting the soft glow of chandeliers overhead. Ambient music hums gently in the background, a melody so soothing it almost feels like it's seeping into my bones. The air carries a faint scent of lavender and sandalwood, wrapping around me like a warm, invisible embrace. I stand there for a moment, feeling like an imposter in my simple jeans and sweater, until a poised receptionist with a knowing smile greets me from behind a sleek counter. Her eyes seem to see right through me as she asks for my certificate, and I fumble a little as I hand it over, suddenly aware of how out of my element I am. She nods, her smile never wavering, and gestures for me to follow her down a dimly lit hallway. The walls are lined with abstract art, muted golds and silvers that seem to shift in the low light, and my footsteps are muffled by a plush runner underfoot. We reach a private waiting area, and she invites me to take a seat on a velvet chair so soft I sink into it like it's a cloud. There's a delicate porcelain cup of herbal tea waiting on a small table beside me, the steam curling upward in lazy spirals. I wrap my hands around it, letting the warmth seep into my palms, and take a cautious sip. Chamomile with a hint of something earthy I can't quite place. As I sit there, I can't shake the feeling of being both out of place and inexplicably intrigued. My eyes wander to the other clients in the room. Mostly women, but a few men, all dressed in expensive casual wear. Tailored blazers, cashmere scarves. As I sit in that plush velvet chair, the herbal tea warming my hands, I'm still trying to wrap my head around being in a place like Elysium Retreat. The quiet murmur of voices around me fades into a distant hum as the receptionist returns, her polished demeanor unwavering. She tells me my therapist, Julian, is ready for me, and I follow her down another hallway, this one even more intimate, with walls painted a deep, calming indigo. The air grows warmer, heavier with the scent of essential oils, and my nerves start to jitter beneath my skin. I'm led into a private room, where the lighting is so soft it feels like twilight. Even in the middle of the day, a massage table sits in the center, draped in crisp white linens, and I notice small details. A cluster of scented candles flickering on a low shelf, their golden glow dancing across the walls, and a speaker emitting the faintest trace of instrumental music, like a lullaby woven from strings and whispers. Julian greets me with a quiet confidence, his presence filling the room without effort. He's tall, with an athletic build, his dark hair swept back, and eyes that seem to hold 1,000 unspoken thoughts. His voice is low, almost melodic, as he instructs me to change into a robe and lie down when I'm ready. I nod, feeling a flush creep up my neck as he steps out to give me privacy. Slipping out of my clothes and into the soft, silken robe feels like shedding a layer of myself, like I'm stepping into someone else's skin. I lie face down on the table, the cool linen against my cheek grounding me as I try to steady my breathing. When Julian returns, I hear the faint clink of bottles, the sound of oil being warmed between his hands, and then his touch, firm, deliberate, and startlingly warm, lands on my shoulders. His hands are strong, kneading into the tight knots that have lived in my muscles for what feels like years. Each press of his fingers sends a ripple of relief through me, unraveling tension I didn't even know I was carrying. It's as if he can read my body like a map, knowing exactly where to apply pressure, where to ease off. The warmth of his touch seeps deep into my skin, melting away the stress of deadlines and endless to-do lists. My breathing slows, each exhale pulling me further into a state of surrender I haven't felt in ages. As his hands move to my shoulder blades, pressing with a precision that borders on artistry, I feel something shift inside me. A long-forgotten warmth spreading from my core, a mix of comfort and something raw, almost primal. My body responds in ways I didn't expect, a subtle heat blooming beneath my skin, and my mind races with guilt. I shouldn't feel this way. I'm married. This is just a massage, but I can't pull away, can't bring myself to break the spell of his touch. Then, the world tilts. Julian leans in close, so close I can feel the warmth of his breath against my ear, sending an involuntary shiver down my spine. His voice is a whisper, soft but piercing, as he says, Your husband wants you to truly relax." I freeze, my heart slamming against my ribcage, unsure if I heard him right. My mind scrambles, grasping for clarity through the haze of sensation. "What?" I stammer, my voice barely audible, trembling with confusion. He doesn't flinch, his hands continuing their steady rhythm as he murmurs again, "Samuel arranged this. Let go." The words crash over me like a tidal wave, drowning me in a flood of emotions I can't name. Samuel knew. This wasn't just a massage. He planned for whatever this is. Betrayal stings sharp in my chest, mingling with confusion and a strange, undeniable pull to give in. My thoughts are a tangled mess, but my body doesn't resist. The atmosphere in the room seems to thicken, intensifying every sensation. The flickering shadows cast by the scented candles play tricks on my eyes, making the boundaries of the space feel fluid, dreamlike. The soft music weaves into the haze of my emotions, its notes. As I step out of that private room at Elysium Retreat, my legs feel like they're made of jelly, trembling beneath me with every shaky step. My mind is a storm, a chaotic whirlwind of guilt and the lingering echoes of sensations I can't quite shake off. I fumble with the tie of my robe before slipping back into my clothes, my fingers clumsy as I adjust my sweater and jeans, trying to piece myself back together. I catch a glimpse of a hallway mirror as I pass by, but I deliberately turn my head away. I can't face my own reflection right now. I'm terrified of what I might see in my eyes. Shame, confusion, or worse, a flicker of something I don't want to admit to myself. My breath is uneven, my chest tight, as I force myself to keep moving, one foot in front of the other, down the dimly lit corridor with its indigo walls and that ever-present scent of essential oils that now feels suffocating rather than soothing. I just need to get out of here, to escape back to the safety of my car where I can sit in silence and try to process everything that just unfolded. My plan is simple. Slip through the lobby unnoticed, avoid any lingering glances from the receptionist or other clients, and disappear into the autumn afternoon. I can already picture myself behind the wheel, windows rolled up, the hum of the engine drowning out the noise in my head as I drive aimlessly until I can make sense of it all. But as I emerge from the hallway into the grand lobby, with its marble floors and soft chandelier glow, my heart stops dead in my chest. There, sitting in one of the plush velvet chairs near the entrance, is Samuel. My Samuel. His posture is deceptively casual, one leg crossed over the other, but his eyes, those familiar hazel eyes I've looked into 1,000 times, are locked on me with an intensity that makes my skin prickle. His expression is unreadable, a mask I can't decipher, and it sends a jolt of panic through me. I freeze mid-step, my breath catching in my throat, unable to move or speak as I notice what he's holding in his hands. It's a small tablet, the screen tilted just enough that I can see it's paused on a grainy image, one that looks disturbingly familiar, though I can't quite make out the details from this distance. My stomach churns, a sickening dread pooling inside me as I wonder what exactly is on that screen. Is it what I fear it might be? Does it capture something from moments ago, something I'm still grappling with myself? My mind spirals, grasping at possibilities, each one more horrifying than the last. I take a hesitant step forward, my legs still unsteady, and manage to force out a whisper, my voice barely audible even to my own ears. "Samuel, what are you doing here?" He doesn't answer right away. Instead, he tilts his head slightly, his gaze never wavering, and gestures with a subtle nod for me to come sit beside him. The simple motion feels like a command, one I don't know how to refuse, even as every instinct in me screams to run. I shuffle forward, my sneakers silent against the polished floor, feeling the weight of every eye in the lobby on me, though I know logically no one is watching. The ambient music that once felt calming now grates on my nerves, Its gentle melody a cruel mockery of the peace I came here seeking. It's as if the notes are laughing at me, underscoring the chaos unraveling inside. I lower myself into the chair next to Samuel, the velvet cushion sinking under my weight, and the silence between us is suffocating, thicker than the air in that private room ever was. I can hear the faint hum of conversation from the receptionist's desk, the occasional clink of a teacup somewhere in the distance, but it all fades into a dull roar against the pounding of my own heartbeat in my ears. My hands rest in my lap, trembling despite my best efforts to still them. I can't bring myself to look at Samuel directly, so I stare at the tablet in his hands, that frozen image taunting me with its ambiguity. My mind races with 1,000 questions, each one clawing at the edges of my sanity as I sit there, frozen in the plush chair beside Samuel. His presence feels like a weight, pressing down on me, and I'm caught in this unbearable limbo, waiting for him to speak, to explain why he's here, why he's holding that tablet with an image that's already haunting me. Then, slowly, deliberately, he turns his head, and I feel the heat of his gaze on me. I force myself to meet his eyes, and what I see there stops my breath. A mix of intensity and something else, something I can't pin down. Is it amusement? Curiosity? It's not anger, and that confuses me even more. My chest tightens as he lifts the tablet slightly, his thumb hovering over the screen, and with a small tap, the image comes into sharp, undeniable focus. It's a video, paused on a frame that rips the air from my lungs. Me, lying on the massage table, Julian's hands pressed against my back, the dim light of the room casting shadows over us. My stomach drops, a sickening wave of nausea crashing over me as the reality sinks in. He saw everything, every moment, every touch, every conflicted emotion that played out in that private space. It's all captured here, laid bare in pixelated clarity. I open my mouth, desperate to say something, to explain, to apologize, to make this moment disappear, but the words stick in my throat like shards of glass. My lips tremble, and all I can manage is a shallow, ragged breath. Before I can find my voice, Samuel speaks, his tone low and steady, cutting through the chaos in my mind like a blade. Next time, I want to be there. The words hang in the air between us, heavy and surreal, like they've been plucked from a dream I can't wake up from. I blink, my brain stuttering, certain I've misheard him. There's no way he said what I think he did. My heart thuds so loudly I'm sure he can hear it, and I stare at him, searching his face for a sign that this is some kind of cruel joke. But he doesn't flinch. Instead, he repeats himself, his voice calm, almost inviting, as if he's suggesting something as mundane as dinner plans. Next time, I want to be there. A flood of emotions surges through me, each one colliding with the next until I'm drowning in them. Shock hits first, sharp and cold, freezing me in place as I try to process what he's saying. Confusion follows, a tangled knot in my chest. Why isn't he angry? Why isn't he hurt? I'd braced myself for accusations, for a fight, for the kind of pain I thought I deserved after what happened in that room. But instead, there's this strange relief washing over me, a realization that he's not looking at me with judgment or betrayal. His eyes hold something else entirely, something that makes my skin prickle with an unexpected flicker of curiosity. What does next time mean? What could it possibly look like? My mind reels, caught between the guilt that still lingers like a bitter aftertaste and this bizarre, uncharted territory he's just opened up. I stammer, my voice barely a whisper, shaky and uncertain as I force the words out. Are you serious? It's all I can manage, a feeble attempt to grasp at some kind of clarity. Samuel nods, his expression softening just a fraction, though that intensity in his hazel eyes never wavers. He leans in slightly, his voice dropping even lower, as if the marble walls of this pristine lobby might overhear us. I arranged this, Nicole. Not just for you to relax, but for us. I've been curious for a while now, about pushing boundaries, about exploring something new together. This was my way of testing the waters, of seeing if we could step outside the lines we've drawn around our marriage. His words land like stones in still water, sending ripples through every assumption I've ever held about us, about what we are to each other. I feel the sting of betrayal again, sharper this. As Samuel's words linger in the air, I feel the ground beneath me shift, like I'm standing on the edge of something vast and unknown. My mind is still reeling from his confession, from the idea that he orchestrated this entire experience not just for my relaxation, but as a gateway to something deeper, something we've never dared to explore in all our years together. I sit there in the lobby of Elysium Retreat, the weight of his gaze pinning me in place, and I don't know whether to feel violated or intrigued. Maybe it's both. Eventually, I manage a small nod, my throat too tight to form any more words, and he seems to take that as enough for now. He stands, tucking the tablet under his arm, and offers me a hand. I hesitate for just a heartbeat before taking it, his grip firm and familiar, yet somehow different, charged with a new kind of energy I can't quite name. We walk out of the salon together, stepping through those heavy frosted glass doors into the cool evening air. It hits my face like a splash of cold water, sharp and bracing, pulling me out of the haze that's been clouding my thoughts since I first saw him waiting for me. The street outside is quiet, the golden glow of streetlights casting long shadows on the pavement, and the autumn leaves skitter across the ground in the gentle breeze. I pull my sweater tighter around me, feeling the chill seep into my bones. But it's not just the temperature that's making me shiver. It's the weight of everything that's happened today, the unspoken questions hanging between us as we make our way to the car. Samuel walks beside me, his pace steady, his silence not uncomfortable but heavy with meaning. I steal a glance at him, trying to read his expression in the dim light, but his face is a mask of calm, as if we're just coming back from a casual dinner rather than whatever this was. The drive home is quiet, the hum of the engine filling the space where words should be. I stare out the window, watching the city blur past in streaks of light and shadow, my hands folded tightly in my lap. There's a new energy between us, though, a current running beneath the surface, an unspoken understanding, a shared secret that both unnerves and excites me in equal measure. I can still feel the ghost of Julian's touch on my skin, the warmth of his hands, the way my body responded despite my mind's protests. And then there's Samuel's voice, echoing in my head, telling me he wants to be there next time. Next time. The phrase loops in my thoughts, a riddle I can't solve. What does it mean for us? For our marriage? I've spent 15 years building a life with this man, a life of stability and routine. And now, in the span of a single afternoon, it feels like the foundation has cracked open, revealing something wild and untamed beneath. I replay every moment of the day in my mind, dissecting each detail as the car moves through familiar streets. I think about the certificate Samuel gave me, the way his smile seemed to hold a hidden promise I didn't understand at the time. I think about stepping into Elysium Retreat, the way the air seemed to hum with possibility, and how Julian's presence filled that private room with a kind of magnetism I couldn't resist. I think about the moment his whisper cut through me, revealing Samuel's involvement, and how my world tilted on its axis. And then, seeing Samuel in the lobby, the tablet in his hands, the video that captured everything, I feel a flush of shame creep up my neck even now, but it's tangled with something else, something I'm almost afraid to name. Desire? Curiosity? I question myself relentlessly, probing at my own heart. Did I cross a line I can't come back from? And if I did, why don't I feel the regret I expected? Instead, there's a spark flickering inside me, something I haven't felt in years. It's like a taste of adventure, a brush, dare I say it, liberation even. I've lived so long within the boundaries of what I thought a marriage should be, what I thought I wanted. But now, as I step into the unknown, I realize that perhaps the greatest adventure is discovering who I am beyond those confines. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.